The Carolina Panthers win 8-9, yet they won the NFC South last year, made the playoffs, played the LA Rams very competitively in that game. I mean, they were in that game in the fourth quarter. They had a shot to win that game. Just weren't able to do that. The Panthers, though, did they answer some questions about Bryce Young? I maybe think so. I think Bryce Young, at the very least, is a starter in the NFL. The question is he the guy that can take the Panthers to that next level? And that's being I think, a perennial playoff team. And not only that, maybe a team that could, win the NFC South quite handily. The rest of the NFC South isn't all that great, really, if you just kind of look at this division from top to bottom. Can the Panthers take that next step with Bryce Young and kind of be that team? I don't know, but we're going to try in this rebuild. We're going to keep Dave Canales. We're going to, go on from there. I have draft classes for 2026 and 2027. So let's get into it. If you've been enjoying the rebuilds, enjoying the videos, hit that subscribe button to keep up with the channel and the videos. Notification, hit that too. I don't know if YouTube even cares about that anymore. Hit the like button if you've been enjoying the rebuilds, or if you just want to be a cool guy. If you're a cool guy, you'll hit the like button. If you're not a cool guy, the best way to become a cool guy is to hit that like button. So go on, do that. Let's get into the rebuild. So I guess we'll take a look at this roster here before we really get into this rebuild. Bryce Young, still young, 24 years old, will be 25 next year, probably coming up pretty soon on needing a new contract. Actually, we'll take a quick look and kind of see what that contract is looking like. We have 2026 and 2027, both, relatively decent price tags. He is a 78 overall, but then the real, I think, piece here that you would be excited about building an offense around is the Ted offensive, Tetaroa McMillan. Wide receiver won last year's draft. I felt like people started overthinking this at certain points. This guy was by far the best receiver in last year's draft class. I don't think there's any question about it. Put up amazing numbers for a rookie. 7 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 70 receptions. Just had a great year. Great rookie season. I think really helped Bryce Young, getting him that true number one receiver. I think that was big. Offensive line, for the most part, is pretty good. So it got better. I think that was one of the things that always kind of held Bryce Young back a little bit. I thought this year the offensive line play was very good. Defensively, got J.C. Horn out here. And, you got Derek Brown, but I still think this team that could use even a little bit more help off the edge. Even really, I think the middle of the defense, you see here, these guys are pretty low rated, but I think middle of the defense, if you got to get a little bit more dynamic at that linebacker position, I think if you're the Panthers, I think that will be the next step for this team. And it's something we're going to try to do in this upcoming draft and potentially even free agency. But let's get into it. Well, I normally don't see this in franchise when I've done these rebuilds. Taylor Moton does retire. He usually hits free agency, so we'll have to find a replacement tackle for him. That is a little concerning. But yeah, Taylor Moton, that's like the first time I've seen him retire in like the first year of one of these rebuilds. So, but long snap retires, and so does Andy Dalton. Okay, so we have some re-signings we're going through. Ike Mekwonu is going to get re-signed for us. So that's a guy that I see make it into free agency every now and then. Jalen Coker, we are cokeheads here. And Jalen Coker is going to get re-signed. We are going to give him, some money here. Of course, we're going to give him money, but I'd like to see a guy like that stick around so I don't have to maybe burn some draft capital on a player, on a receiver. I'd rather not have to do that. Some of these other guys, we can basically let walk. I mean, these linebackers, I am going to let walk. We are going to redo that linebacker room. I think we just kind of have to. I think, we have to. Simple as that. We have to redo that linebacker room. I think it just has to be torn down, stripped apart, and kind of just redone. I would bring back Isaiah Simmons. In real life, he actually is a pretty decent, how do I say this? He's a really good special teamer, but this is Madden, so that doesn't necessarily doesn't matter too much. Cade Mays, we're going to keep around here for the next 4 years. Again, relatively cheap contract. He's good enough to where I think it makes sense for us to keep him around. And then Austin Corbett, I have to go take a quick look at our roster real quick and kind of see if it makes sense for us to re-sign him. We might already be filled up. We have Damian Lewis, and then at right guard, Robert Hunt. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense for us to bring back um, Austin Corbett. So not going to happen. We have better players at those positions. So that's going to do it for re-signings. Let's get into free agency as my phone goes off. All right, so a little bit here through free agency. We have Cam Curl, Nakobe Dean, Asante Samuel Jr. all on our board. This is kind of who we're targeting. Defense, I think, is what we really want to get better for this team. I think there's just times when maybe in that playoff game where there's been a couple of tight games where you just kind of hoped the defense can make an additional play. I don't know if any of these guys are like real game changers or anything like that, but I think these are all pretty solid players that I would love to have. Cam Curl, I have a pretty big offer on him, so we'll see if we can maybe get him. And we get Asante Samuel Jr. We don't get Cam Curl. I did not expect that. Come back through here, Nakobe Dean. Now, I know we have Trevin Wallace, but he just kind of is not that good right now. And I think potentially trying to get Nakobe Dean would be pretty nice. I don't want to go too crazy here because I might still end up drafting. He just doesn't like that offer either, so I think we're going to withdraw that offer. I just don't think that's going to happen. We might have to look to the draft to get a new starting, edge player for us, or not edge, a new starting middle linebacker. We might have to do that in the draft. Now, I did switch this defense to a 3-4. It was set as a 4-3. I would maybe like to get another defensive tackle in here. I feel like these defensive tackles, when we're using these real draft classes, are going to be a little bit more kind of what we want, for the simple fact that, the Madden generated draft classes, these guys are just cracked, right? They're just kind of insane. So we do get a new corner. Don't know exactly if he's going to start for us, but we make two additions to this defense here. DJ Reader for a year and Asante Samuel Jr. And I think that might do it for free agency for us. Honestly, I don't know if I want to commit any more money long term right now, just because we do have the Bryce Young extension eventually coming up. That is something that we have to think about. We can't just go crazy with money. I did let Rico Dowdle walk. A little bit too old for me to really want to keep around and pay. So that is going to be that. So could not get Nakobe Dean. I'm a little disappointed in that. I thought maybe we could get that. And yeah, so we still have Alex Singleton here. That would be pretty big upgrade. We'll see if he's interested here in $9 million a year, yearly. I mean, we're the only one offering him. Will he take $9 million? He takes $9 million. So we bring in Alex Singleton. That's a little bit of an upgrade in the linebacker room. Older player, but it's a piece. It's a start. We're going to tap out on free agency, shift our focus to the draft. So for the draft, who are we targeting here? And really in the first round, it's going to be some sort of linebacker, even potentially an edge rusher. Kind of why I didn't really pay too close attention to any of those edge guys in free agency. I feel like we could always get one pretty cheaper here in the draft if we are in that position. So first player on our board is going to be CJ Allen out of Georgia. Looks really good. What do we have? He did not go to the combine, told Roger Goodell to shove it. Did not want to go to Indianapolis, is my guess. Elite strength, elite jumping, elite change of direction, solid speed, good agility. Everything looks really good. Skills look really good. The block shedding looks good. The coverage skills look good. Awareness, play rec, those things are good. So I do like to see that out of CJ Allen. And the other player we are considering is Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. He's a little bit bigger. He has everything elite here. I mean, elite acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction, elite jumping, elite speed, elite strength. A man coverage, A zone coverage. Honestly, he looks to be the better player, but we have done a rebuild with Anthony Hill Jr. before already, so I try not to repeat those things, but it's maybe not something I should consider when I'm doing these rebuilds. But we come back here now, and another edge player that we did consider, and it was Cassius Howell. F tackle does kind of worry me a little bit right there, and poor strength, but great speed, elite everything else. Now, granted, remember that stuff is just kind of, those rankings are based on just the draft class as a whole. He might actually just have a fine strength rating. It's just compared to the rest of the draft class isn't great, but he has A play rec, C block shedding, but apart from that, he looks pretty good. A awareness, A finesse moves, D power moves. So Cassius Howell, if these linebackers are off the board that we want to draft, if they're off the board, then we probably won't draft. When we might draft Cassius Howell or maybe any other combination of edge player, but I feel pretty confident we'll be taking a linebacker in the draft. So we are in the draft here. We're going to advance to the next user pick, and we are picking at 19. Believe a lot of the corners go off the board that I would have maybe considered a corner, but the linebackers we want are still here. CJ Allen here, Cassius Howell is here. Take a look real quick. Anthony Hill Jr. is here. Anthony Hill Jr., I don't know, just something about all of those athletic ratings just kind of feels like that might be the better pick, and I think we are going to go with Anthony Hill Jr. here. I love the athletic profile, at least in the game, and he's ranked number 9 in true value. We got him at 19. I think that was the right pick. It looks great. Probably going to be an immediate starter for us, and yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of a no-brainer, honestly. So we do remake this linebacker room a little bit here, and I do think it should be better than what it was going in it or coming out of this most recent season. So we have another pick here. What do we have? And you know, you look around here, and I do think there could be a situation where you do want to, you know, potentially for us to take a tackle here. As Taylor Moton did retire, and, you know, we probably do want to take a tackle here. Granted, none of the right tackles look particularly interesting. So you're probably going to take one of these left tackles and move them over. And we look around here, and I think it could be Caleb Tiernan here with this pick. Everything looks pretty good on him, honestly. And again, more of a pass blocker. We want to keep Bryce Young up. And, ooh, maybe a little bit of a reach right there. Did Caleb Tiernan really play college basketball for 2 years? I don't think he did. I think they just like giving that to people with a certain athletic profile. I don't think he actually, unless I don't know if the draft classes are that in depth, but we go with a tackle right there. We needed to get a tackle, and I suppose we could come back here, take one of these edge players. You know, there still are some defensive tackles here, but I think we are potentially going to take one of these edge guys here. Take a look here at Joshua Josephs. Does he look good? He has C block shedding. I mean, elite jumping, elite change of direction. What's everything else looking like here? Finesse moves, power moves. We'll take a shot here on Joshua Josephs. And they didn't like that pick either. So, not the greatest picks right now. At least apparently to how these guys are ranked. But we have one more pick that I'm going to make, and I'm going to let the CPU kind of handle the rest. We look around here. What do we want to do? Because we could take, I believe, an additional receiver if we really wanted to. We're not going to. Chris McLennan doesn't look all that good, so that's just not going to happen. Is there any tight ends around? Nothing that I'm particularly interested in, so that's not going to happen. Defensive tackles, again, that's why I said I was willing to kind of pay right there, just because, you know, why not? And what does this guy look like? He has F and this guy does not look very good either. No, none of these guys look good here. I think we're past the point of there being good players. Aaron Graves, does he look any good? Not particularly. So I think we're just going to take Chris McClellan here. See if he's good. Probably not. No, that was 228. That is a reach. So, kind of not doing too well in the draft right now, at least as of right now. You never know once these guys get drafted and you try to develop them. Maybe they'll play well. Drew Aller goes to the Jaguars. That's a little weird. You got Trevor Lawrence. What do you need to do that for? So we look around here. Is there any safeties that we like here in this class? And the answer is really no. Always like looking for safeties every now and then. That guy is complete. Can't even say his name. I wonder what his name is, where you can't even say it. Huh. I am stumped on what to do here. You know what? Malachi Fields, who I actually did just draft in a Jets franchise that we're doing. We'll take Malachi Fields here. 6'4", 223 pounds. Could be a developmental player, but we're going to let the CPU handle the rest of this draft. So, draft recap here. We have Anthony Hill Jr. He's a 78 overall, so you do like to see that. Caleb Tiernan, only a 70. Well, I don't say only a 70 overall. He is a 70 overall. We're going to move him over to right tackle. I think he'll do fine over there. He should progress for us somewhat decently, as best as a lineman can progress in Madden. I just feel like, again, I keep making this complete. With every rebuild, I feel like these offensive linemen, they just don't progress, and I don't get how they handle that, right? I'm not sure how you would handle that, because you don't want to be able to just draft trash offensive linemen and they just become good. But either way, Joshua Joseph, 70 overall. Maybe he'll progress. I don't know. Kind of a shot in the dark there in the 3rd round. Chris McClellan, 67 overall. Malachi Fields, 69 overall, so that is not too bad. Again, could be a guy that just maybe progresses, but that's the draft. Let's get into year number 1 of this rebuild. So, training camp results here. We got 3 for Bryce Young, and these are all going to go into field general. I feel like there's almost no reason to really focus on any other archetype for quarterbacks in Madden besides field general. It basically boosts everything, and you get the best of everything that you want for a quarterback. So, yeah. Up to an 81 overall, I will take that. Asante Samuel Jr., who we just signed. We got we got 3 points for him, and we are going to use all of those on man-to-man. Make him a scheme fit. I don't know if that matters. It might. You never know, but he's still pretty young and still has some room to grow. And then Caleb Tiernan, these are all going to go to pass protector. And yeah, so he should enter his rookie season pretty decently rated here, and he is going to be a 73 overall entering his rookie season. And hopefully he can keep Bryce Young upright. And then we have some upgrades here for Malachi Fields, who is going to, at the very least, be a 71 overall going into his rookie season, and at the very least be a 72 overall going into his rookie season, and at the very least be a 73 overall going into his rookie season, as we some nice upgrades right there. Want to get that route running up, eventually get the deep route running up, but we'll see if he develops at all, if that's someone that will be a key part of this rebuild or not. Anthony Hill Jr. is someone who I do expect to be a key part of this rebuild moving forward. He is going to go into his rookie season an 80 overall, and he has an ability slot, so that gives away that he has superstar depth. Yeah. So, and then Trevin Wallace, you hope he can play well. Matt Ariza, the punt god. Hopefully well, actually, those got proven false, but that's training camp. So here's the team for year number 1. Basically about the same. Bryce Young, a little bit higher overall. Not higher in terms of height, but overall, 81 overall right there. Hopefully we can keep growing that throughout the season. And then defensively, defense, we do add DJ Reader. You also add Asante Samuel Jr. to this defense. Anthony Hill Jr., Alex Singleton are your linebackers, so you do get a little bit better right there. Strong safety could probably still use some work. And edge, you just hope Scorton and Umana Malin. God, I am terrible with names. Umana Malin, you can tell I'm from the Midwest. You hope that both of those guys can just kind of play well and do something, right? That's just kind of the hope right there that both of those guys can do something. We're gonna put a Xavier Legette in the slot. We got to try to salvage that pick right there and hopefully make something happen. But that's the team. I'll see you for the midseason mark. See how we're doing. All right, midseason check-in, and we are 6-1, 82 overall, 81 overall offense, 84 overall defense. We're doing quite well. Let's go take a look here at the stats and awards. And Bryce Young, 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That is a lot of interceptions, but either way, Chuba Hubbard playing very well. We're getting some good production out of Jonathan Brooks as well, 5 touchdowns, so you do like to see that. And then receiving wise, it's Jalen Coker leading the way. Tedero McMillan coming up second, or at least first with touchdowns. But in terms of yardage, it's Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette, Kadoosh is putting up some decent numbers here. And then you got Tommy Trumbull having a decent season. So some decent production all around. What is this defense doing? I want to wonder, or I wonder. DJ Reader playing very well. That's not a long-term piece. Derek Brown, pretty well. 4 sacks for Princely Umana Malin. Either way, Prince has 4 sacks. 3.5 sacks for Nick Scarton. Alex Singleton 1.5. Smith Wade with 1.5. Anthony Hill Jr. with half. Asante Samuel Jr. with half. And in terms of interceptions, got some. We got a couple here. But either way, defense looks to be playing pretty well. I do like seeing our 2 young edge players actually kind of producing here, so maybe that's one less thing we have to think about when it comes to the draft. But either way, I'll see you for the playoffs if we make them. Let's take a look here at this NFC South, actually, and we're leading it by a pretty decent margin. I don't think, if one team, that's the weird thing about the NFC South, and I'll say this about real life. Any one of these 4 teams has like a really good offseason, they could probably dominate this division for at least a couple years. And it could be either one of them. That's how kind of like close that division is. I don't mean close in a good way. I mean close in these teams all are like kind of like poorly run, kind of. So not only do we make the playoffs here in our first year, we're actually the number 1 seed. We go 12-5, best record in all of the NFC. I have no clue how realistic that is, but take a look at our schedule here, and it always wants to show me the preseason first. But this team started off really hot. We lost to the Bengals, and then only 2 other losses. Got shut out versus the Steelers, lost 12-14 versus the Bears. But either way, pretty good season here, the second half for this team. And we'll go take a look here at these stats and awards. Again, nothing crazy by Bryce Young, 27 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I am still using the Panthers playbook. I will try to use the OG playbook for a lot of these playoff teams as much as I possibly can. I don't want to have every rebuild kind of just feel like gotta throw on Bengals playbook, because that's kind of what it feels like if you're doing these sim things. But Xavier Legette, pretty good season here, 700 yards. Jalen Coker, close to a 1,000-yard season. Tedero and McMillan, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. You'll love to see that. Tommy Trumbull, decent season. Honestly, not much more I can say right there. Just a decent year. So this defense did, and again, 11.5 sacks for Derek Brown. Princely got 8.5. Nick Scarton was 6.5. DJ Reader was 6.5. Alex Singleton 3.5 there. So I do like seeing that. Getting some production on the defense in terms of getting to the quarterback. And then Anthony Hill Jr. turned it up, honestly, in the second half of the season here with 3 interceptions. Some of these guys didn't even have 1 interception, but seems like we were able to really stack on some interceptions here late in the year. So I do like seeing that. And our playoff game, taking on the Eagles here. And, can we beat the Eagles? I don't know. Let's see. We're 12-5. They are better than us. And the Eagles do end our season. We lose that game 19-13. Very close game. This team probably still a little too far ahead. Did get to the divisional round, but the 1 seed goes down in the NFC. And I feel like this would be a 1 seed where people would like question it, where like people wouldn't really respect this team being a 1 seed, despite the 12-5 record. I'd be like, you played the NFC South. Look at those teams. They went 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, or 6-11. You had an easy cakewalk schedule, and you did. But like I said, one of these teams that just kind of gets it right, kind of hits it. And I feel like you could definitely dominate this division just because of how not great the other teams are. But season one ends with some disappointment, but we did go 12-5. We developed this team pretty nicely. Now we just have to build on top of it for year number 2. And some great news here. Anthony Hill Jr. goes up to Superstar X Factor. I'm going to assume he maybe won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yes, he did. So we get a dev trade increase on that. So you do like to see that. I don't think it really matters what I set his X Factor ability to, because it's all based on, like, that'd be if I was actually inside playing the games. I don't think that affects the sim at all, but I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it does. So we don't have too many re-signings that we actually have to do. We are going to accept this option here on Xavier Legette. Honestly, now that I think about it, I probably should have declined the option because he's still only a 77 overall, so it probably would be not too expensive to re-sign him. DJ Reader, I would like to have back. Actually, he played pretty well for us. He's going to test out free agency. We'll see if we can get him back. Might be someone else out there a little bit younger. Tommy Trumbull, we're going to let walk. We're going to try to get an upgrade in free agency. And the rest of these guys, we're going to let walk too. I swear, what is up with these punters being so fickle when it comes to like their free agency contracts? They're like, yeah, no, I'm just not in. They never want to re-sign. I don't get that. Punters are like, they never want to come back. But that is who's not going to be on the team next year for the most part. Maybe we'll bring back DJ Reader, but we'll see. If there's someone younger and cheaper in free agency, we're probably going to go after him. Oh, look at this. There's some names in this free agency right now. There's some guys that I want. Kyle Pitts, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's some guys here that I want. For sure. That I definitely want to bring in. And boy, Brian Branch, that seems like that'd be a ton of fun. $20 million, though, that seems like a lot. He is somewhat interested. I'll offer him. We'll see if Brian Branch will be a Carolina Panther. That's going to be a no. He is not interested, and I'm not going to go much further up on that either. Tucker Kraft, I almost never see him in free agency. I feel like this would be a great signing. One of the top tight ends, and I want him. Is Tucker Kraft even kind of interested? He is. We're kind of in first place right there with him, so Tucker Kraft is interested in us. We'll go through here now and see defensive tackles. And is there anyone that I'm interested in? I'd like to just bring back DJ Reader. I think that'd be the easiest thing to do, is to just bring him back. But he wants a little bit more money, and Sheldon Rankins doesn't want as much money. So we'll try for Sheldon Rankins. It's a little bit cheaper. And the key stats he's kind of better at, just because, you know, he's better at play rec and awareness, and those things really seem to matter in the sim engine. So we're gonna try to bring him in. Man, I would love Brian Branch, but that is way too much money. And we're gonna try Dane Belton here, and I think that would be a pretty good signing. Try to get that to $9 million per year. He's somewhat interested. That'd be an immediate upgrade at strong safety for us. So those are the 3 targets we have: Tucker Kraft, Sheldon Rankins. All of a sudden, we're behind the Commanders. We're going to add an extra year there. I want to get Tucker Kraft. I'm going to go $12 million right there. We're going to see, does that does get us ahead there. I don't know if that's accurate, but ton of money there to Tucker Kraft. Let's see if we can make this happen. Free agency. And we do get Tucker Kraft. So we get a massive upgrade there at tight end. It was pricey, but you get maybe one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I really think Tucker Kraft, before he tore his ACL in real life, was on his way to, I think, solidifying himself as the best tight end in the NFL, outside of Brock Bowers and potentially Trey McBride. Kind of those three guys right there, kind of that next generation of tight ends. They're next up. Sheldon Rankins, we do get him as well. Dane Belton, just sign the contract. Just sign the contract. And we get Dane Belton. So some nice upgrades right there, particularly with Tucker Kraft. So that is a massive upgrade at tight end. And it was pricey, but I like that move. And that's going to do it for free agency. Oh, and we signed a punter. And we're going to get a little bit of corner depth here with Deontay Banks. I thought about drafting a corner. I'm still thinking about that. It's just, I don't know if we're going to be in position to get a corner that I actually want, because we're kind of a little bit back in the first round. So guys might fly off the board, and I'm not really willing to trade draft capital to move up to get a corner. So Deontay Banks could add some good depth. We get him for the next 3 years. Okay, so we are here in the draft. 2027 draft. This is a real draft class, and lots of players on the board that we like, but we are going to go with Koi Perch, the free safety. I believe he was originally from Minnesota. I believe he just transferred to Oregon. I could be wrong about that, but he looks really good. The reason why we're doing this trade is because Trayvon Moehrig is a free agent after this upcoming season, so I feel like we should go up here and just kind of get his replacement now. And I think that might be a pretty smart move for us to do. Get his replacement now, get a really good player here with a lot of potential, great athletic ability, and I think that's a good move for us. But we're not done here. I am going to attempt to make a trade here. I want to trade back into this first round. And the reason why I want to is I would like to get another receiver, another young receiver. And Xavier Legette does have 2 years left on his deal. Jalen Coker has 3. But I feel like we got to get one more, I think, truly elite receiver. I just don't think Xavier Legette is going to progress for us to be that. Did Jacksonville just... Did I not pause the draft? They took KJ Bolden. Okay. Well, hold on now, because let's see what do they do? Okay, I could have swore I paused the draft, but apparently I didn't. Okay, so this still works for us, actually. So we're going to pause the draft here. We want to make a trade with the Patriots, and this is going to be Xavier Legette. He is he's been fine for us. Just, I think we could get a little bit younger at that position and bring in another player that I think could be elite for. So this is going to be a second and probably a 1 next year. I think because we're going to be asking New England to basically trade out of the first half of this draft, or the back half of this draft. They won't be picking again until relatively, I don't know what their second round pick is, but they won't be picking again for a while. This is the only pick I want from them. Are they willing to do this? Ooh, we're close, though. So we'll throw in an additional 4. Do they take that? This will put them over the salary cap. Well, give me a player back. I wasn't reading, I guess. Do you have an extra player that you want to part with? Now we have to go in here and look. They actually have some pretty good receivers, so they actually don't need any receiver. Okay. Well, we'll look at their receiver depth. We'll see what they do right here. I want to get Ryan Williams, I guess, is the long story of things here. And let's skip the Cowboys. Okay, the Ravens. You get to see the whole process here, I guess. So one of the things we are going to do still is trade Xavier Legette. Maybe the Ravens don't have a great receiver room. Let's see what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens. So they are struggling with cap here. Boy, what is going on here? My God, what has happened to the Ravens? Well, they also don't need receiver. Well, actually, I do want to get this trade with them. Let's skip this one. We get to see the whole process here. Do they? Okay, so the Browns. Okay, well, this could be a little not as expensive. So, boy, you're getting to see the whole process. I thought this would be really quick, but apparently not. So the Browns, they have plenty of cap room. They can easily take Xavier Legette. And all I want from you is your second round pick. And I will do a pick swap with you. You can have our second round pick and Xavier Legette. Oh, what did that say? All right. And a 5. Xavier Legette, a 2 and a 5 for your 2. What do you mean put you over the salary cap? What are you talking about? You have $99 million in cap room. What is this? What's going on here? Did they break this? What is this? What do you mean that would put you over the salary cap? What are you talking about? This makes no sense. They keep talking about being put over the salary cap. This would not put you here. Give me that player. What are you talking about? Panthers. How would that put us over the salary cap? What is this? What the fuck is this? I'm about to like get really pissed off. What do you mean that would put us over the salary cap? Oh my god. This game sucks. Here's an additional 7. What is this? What is going on here? Here's a 4. What the fuck? I'm gonna have to figure this out. All right, in the meantime, we're gonna trade Trayvon Moehrig to the Jaguars for a 4th and a 7th in the 2028 draft. We're gonna get Jaron Jones back as well. So we're gonna make that trade. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell I can trade up for this Browns pick. I don't understand why this game's telling me I would be over the cap in this. Like I'm starting to get really frustrated here. Okay. So how about a 5? Okay, done deal. I'm not sure. Apparently we had to make the Trayvon Moehrig trade to make this happen, but we trade up to the top of the second round. That took way too long, and that was very annoying. And this is going to be very simple here. We're going to take Alabama's Ryan Williams. I think he has a lot of potential. And, you know, I feel like the hype on him has kind of died down a little bit. I do wonder how much of that is just, you know, maybe Kalen DeBoer there. I don't know. But he's the number 8 ranked player in true value. We get him at 33. I think that is the perfect amount of stuff to give up to go out here and get, I think, a truly elite athlete and potentially a truly elite player. And, you know, Xavier Legette probably played pretty well for us, but hey, when you go out here and get a player like Ryan Williams, who's younger and I think has a higher ceiling than Xavier Legette, I think you go out there and do that every single time. So I think that was a good deal for us. Okay, so we are here in the 3rd round of the 2027 draft. We're still looking around for some players, and nothing's really standing out, if I'm being honest. I mean, nothing out here looks particularly interesting. There is a corner here. I guess we go look at corner. We did just trade for Jaron Jones. He will be a free agent after this upcoming season, so I'm not really sure if he'll be someone who we keep around long term, but you never know. We look around here at some of these guys, and John Tez Williams, he has terrible play recognition, though, so that's the kind of thing that makes me not 100% sure if that's a guy we're going to take. I mean, these are the talent things, but their play recs look awful. Granted, everyone's play rec in this class doesn't look particularly good. But yeah, these are shorter corners though. So I don't really know. I'm not a fan of any of these corners because I don't think any of them be particularly good. But I think we'll go with John Tez Williams out of USC. Looks maybe the best out of any of those guys, and he does look okay. 89 speed, 5'11" though, but maybe he'll be good for us. We still have a 4th round pick here to make, and then I think we're gonna get out of here in terms of the rest of this draft. And still some corners here. Take a look at maybe a center, and none of them look that good. Left guard doesn't look all that interesting. Defensive tackle, is there anyone here that we like? And I'm going to say not really. There's no one here that we particularly are interested in. So any linebackers that we like? Not really. Any tackles? We're good at tackle, so we don't need to do anything for tackle. I suppose we could look at some running backs here. Could always use more running backs. Not really, but you know, who has good ball carrier vision? LJ Martin. Out, he is a power back. He has a break tackle. He looks all right, actually. We'll take LJ Martin out of BYU. And drafted him about right where he should be drafted. I still like the game saying, I think that's just a glitch in the game where it says your weakest position is always going to be like tight end. Because we have maybe the best tight end in football on our roster in Tucker Kraft. So I don't think we're kind of in that position. So, kicker. Sure, Lucas Carnero, Ole Miss kicker. I'll take him. Number 24 in true value. Take a kicker, 99 kick power. We might have a new kicker. And I think that'll do it for the draft for us. So, draft recap here. Koi Parich, 1st round pick, 76 overall. Really like that. 73 awareness. Looks like a great athlete. I think he should progress pretty well for us. And then we took Ryan Williams here at the start of the 2nd round. Did do a trade with the Cleveland Browns. 78 overall. I love this pick. Honestly, if a guy like this is going to fall because maybe his college production didn't really keep up, hey, I'll absolutely take a shot on him. I think this is kind of like a home run type of move here. And I think this is a team that kind of needs to make a home run type of move like this if you get an opportunity for a player like that. John Tez Williams is a 73 overall. Take a look at his ratings. Man coverage needs some work. Play rec needs some work. But outside of that, looks decent, honestly. And for a kind of 3rd round guy, that's basically a potential starting corner by next year. LJ Martin's a 70 overall. Don't know what we'll do with him. Then we took Lucas Carnero, 75 overall kicker, and 99 kick power, 90 kick accuracy. Love to see it. And then we took Connor Wegman here to close out the draft. 59 overall. You know, backup quarterback, nothing special. I'll see you for the start of season number 2. All right, so we went through training camp, and we have a ton of upgrades here for our players. Ryan Williams, in particular, has a ton of upgrades. We're going to go with slot with him for a little bit of these to get that route running up, particularly that short route running, because I believe his short route running is only a 71, and I believe that slot does get that up or you're more likely to get a short route running upgrade with slot, even though all of these upgrade paths all of these buckets of upgrades can get you short route running, but I believe it hits a little bit more in slot than the others, but we'll wait and see for that. We've gotten a couple short route. We got one right there. Feels like we've gotten more +3 or 4 for medium route running, but +2 medium. Come back again for slot here again, and he is going to get a +1 short running and one more. And that should get him up to another +2 short route running. So that's pretty nice. Has star dev. So we go from a 71 to a 78 short route running. Do like to see that. Medium route running goes up to an 82. And then 78 for the deep route running as well. So he'll enter his rookie season a 73 overall. And then Koi Parich. This is going to be very simple here. This is just going to be focused all on zone. They have to add in some more white guy heads, I feel like. I feel like there's not enough white guy heads. That sounds weird to say, but there's not. There's a stunning lack of diversity for white guys in the Madden thing. Does that sound weird to say there's not enough white guys? But like, you know, the NFL, it's a pretty diverse league. There's white guys in it. I feel like there should be more white guy heads, in my opinion. But hopefully they switch over to the college football system and we do get more white guy heads. That sounds... I'll stop talking. But Nick Scorton's going to get 4 upgrade points here, and we're going to go all in on... Honestly, we'll go with Power Rusher here, try to make him a dev trait, or a... Not dev trait. Try to make him a scheme fit with power rushing, and hopefully that should help him develop on better for us, because he actually had a pretty decent year last year for us. So not going to get to a scheme fit, but, coming into his 3rd year, he had a pretty good season for us. Hopefully we can see more of that for him. Got some upgrades here for Bryce Young. We're going to go with Field General again. Try to get him to be a scheme fit. That should help him along the way just slightly. I don't know what the scheme fit boost is for all of that stuff. I don't think it's that massive, but he'll come into the season in 84 overall, +1 to awareness. That's really big. Awareness is like really big for the sim engine. Always has been, always will be. And then we do have Caleb Tiernan here. We're still just gonna focus on pass protector for him. I kind of hope they let us build our own schemes at some point. I'm not sure why that's not a thing. I'm sure there's some sort of like cheese restriction, but also it's like if I'm playing franchise mode by myself, why is that something I need to worry about? If you need to worry about that, just have it set up for like online leagues where a commissioner can set it to like, no, you can't do that. I think that would be the most fair thing to do. Could be wrong, but Trevin Wallace here is, he's progressed pretty nicely for us, actually. We're still going to focus on pass coverage, because I think we might move him to weak inside linebacker at some point. Also, we would have to pay him less if I did that. So, a little bit of gamesmanship, but I think that might be where he'll fit in best, honestly, not Mike linebacker. Anthony Hill Jr., he had a great rookie season, like I said, went up to superstar X Factor for us. And we're expecting big things out of him for year 2, but up to an 88 overall as well. And then the rest of these guys doesn't matter too much. We will get to the kicker, because for him, what really matters is getting that kick accuracy up. This is what I mean about not enough white guy heads. Like, he looks like a fry cook at like a fucking like a Waffle House or something. I don't know, he's wearing a bandana. I know it's not a bandana, it's like a skull cap. Do-rag type deal, but I'm not sure why he'd be wearing a do-rag. I don't know if I've ever seen too many white guys in do-rags, but yeah, up to a 78 overall for our kicker, 86 kick accuracy. And then we have some upgrades here for Connor Wegman. Does Connor Wegman's development matter? Not really. He is wearing Cam Newton's number. That's I'm not going to change that because that doesn't really matter right now, but just wanted to bring that up. You guys remember how awesome Cam Newton was? Cam Newton was the man for like a few years, and then like shoulder injuries completely destroyed his career. I think that's really what it came to. I did not want to do Scrambler. These menus are so slow. But yeah, Cam Newton before the shoulder injuries, I think he was, a really good quarterback. And it's a shame that his career kind of fell the way it did the second half. We didn't get like a true second half of Cam Newton's career. And that's a shame. But I'll see you for the start of season 2. All right, so this is the team for year number 2 of the rebuild, and this offense, I think, is really taking a big step forward, not just with Bryce Young's development, but with the addition of Ryan Williams and the addition of Tucker Kraft. I think we go out and we get Bryce Young, 2 massive, I think, monster pieces in terms of playmaking, and I think that's what we were missing. I think we were kind of missing those 2 additional guys along with Tedorota McMillan. Jalen Coker still here, still good, but I think we just get 2 massive upgrades right there. 2 real, I think, additional superstar players along with Tedero and McMillan. Defensively, Coy Parrish going to be our starting free safety. We have Dane Belton starting at strong safety. Anthony Hill Jr. at Mike. Weak inside linebacker is going to be Trevin Wallace. Scorton, Umanamele. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but that's how I pronounce it. Then we got, Derek Brown, Sheldon Rankins. Decent defensive tackle room. Corner room looks pretty good too. We got Jaron Jones, maybe just for a year, but I think that's a pretty good additional piece to have at corner. And yeah, so here are all of our specialists. I will definitely change that because that should not be Trevin Wallace. But either way, I will come back to you at the mid-season mark and see if we are on our way to another NFC South championship. So mid-season mark, and we are 6-1 on the season, looking pretty good here. Again, looks like we should. Are we running away with it? Not this year exactly. Tampa Bay hot on our tails at 4-2, so we have to definitely keep up the winning here down the stretch. But stats and awards: Bryce Young, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, only 1,300 yards. And yeah, so thought we would see a little more offensive production here, but Ryan Williams having a pretty good rookie season here. 5 touchdowns. Tedero McMillan has not gone off yet. Jalen Coker has not gone off. We have Tucker Kraft being very good as well, but would like to see a little bit more, but I am fine with it so far. And in terms of the defense, though, Nick Scorton, 9.5 sacks. So what we wanted to see from him to start this season, we're seeing at 9.5 sacks. You do like to see that. Derek Brown being pretty good too. And then Sheldon Rankins. All right. Coy Parrish with 0.5 sack. And then Anthony Hill Jr. leading away with interceptions. I assume those numbers will probably jump up a little bit more in the second half of the season in terms of interceptions. And hopefully Bryce Young can as well. But either way, I'll see you for the playoffs. I feel pretty confident we'll make them, but you never know with the Madden Sim engine. The Cardinals at 0-7. Ugh. All right, so we go 13-4, number 1 seed in the NFC yet again. Back-to-back years of that. Won the NFC South pretty handily. We go 13-4. The Buccaneers go 10-7. But we will take a look at these stats real quick. Bryce Young just under 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. 1,200 yards for Chuba Hubbard. Like seeing that. And then receiving, Ryan Williams with 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards. Tedero McMillan, almost 1,000 yards, only 2 touchdowns on the season. Tucker Kraft was 7 touchdowns on the season. So a lot of production from a lot of different people here. Jatavion Sanders, pretty good stuff as well. So not super explosive, but I like seeing that also because we didn't feel the need to have to use Bengal playbook. Bengals playbook, again, always you get crazy numbers. I want to try to avoid doing that with some of these rebuilds. I just feel like it's almost cheating. But 12 sacks for Nick Scorton. Princely gets 10. Trevin Wallace, 9.5. Derek Brown, 4.5. Anthony Hill Jr., 3.5. So some good sack production. Then take a look here at the interceptions. Anthony Hill Jr., 4 interceptions on the season. Dane Belton with 2. Coy Parrish with 2. So you like seeing that. Jaron Jones, we actually did decide to re-sign around $9 million a year. So really fortifying the defense here. Tried re-signing Bryce Young. He did not want to re-sign with us. So this could be it for the Bryce Young-led Panthers. But we're going to go in here and we're going to see if we can win a playoff game versus the Packers. Okay, so we are in this playoff game, and I'm going to try to stay out of it as much as I can. What can our defense do? We're going to need our offense to step up, and they're really not doing it right now. And Bryce Young, for a guy who wants a big contract, is putting up 0 points so far here. I mean, you got to get something going, and they're just not getting it going here. So Bryce Young, bet on himself. Bet on himself. Only was able to put up 8 points in a playoff game at home. That's back-to-back home playoff losses here. And Bryce Young, wants the big money contract, wants to make, wants to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, says a team can give him a better offer in the offseason. Well, maybe he can go figure that out, because we'll take a look here at these stats. That is just for being honest, that is a pitiful performance by Bryce Young. 11 of 27, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, that is just not going to get it done. And can't use the excuse of no weapons. You got Tucker Kraft, you got Tetero McMillan, you got Ryan Williams, you got Jalen Coker. I mean, there are weapons all over the place. And this wasn't a game where we just got blown out right away. This was a pretty close game for a decent bit. And just nothing from the offense. So we have to figure something out at quarterback. It might be bringing back Bryce Young and trying to get it to work, but you're going to turn down a contract and then barely get 100 yards passing in a playoff game. That's just unacceptable. So Ryan Williams goes up to Superstar Dev. I'm going to assume he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Yes, he did. So you do like seeing that. I believe we had a Defensive Rookie of the Year last season, Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. So we're building a good young core of players here. Trevin Wallace also going to get an upgrade. Did re-sign him as well. Moved him to weak inside linebacker. I think that gives us a really good linebacking core right there. And the Packers make the Super Bowl, and they're taking on the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills are going to... the Packers are going to... This is taking a long time. And the Bills win the Super Bowl here. So, bunch of big-time retirements right there. Do we have any retirements that we have to think about in terms of our roster? And Alex Singleton retires. We expected that, but we already moved Trevin Wallace to that will position. So, we're fine right there. Bunch of upgrades here for, end of roster guys, potentially guys who are not on the main roster or probably on the practice squad. So what are we going to do? Players ready to negotiate. Bryce Young, we are going to accept this option here for Tetero McMillan. Bryce Young wants $215 million. And, this is the final offer right here. We are going to offer that. That's the final offer. We're going to try to get this done with Bryce Young, but that's it. This is it, right? $53 million, a year, essentially. This is the contract offer, 4 years, take it or leave it. He's going to test free agency, and we're going to let him. We're not going to bring him back. We're just not going to do that for a guy who can't win a playoff game. You can't win a playoff game, you're not going to be brought back. Simple as that. Just not going to do it. We have a ton of money, but we're going to have to figure something out here at quarterback. And, I like the idea of doing this with a rebuild. Going, you know what? We've given Bryce Young all the weapons possible, and he really hasn't put up a great season for us yet, right? They've all been okay seasons. Maybe a good quarterback, but not a franchise-level guy. And I think he's probably tapped out on development. So, you know what? We're going to move on. Let him go sign somewhere else, and we're going to try to find something else at quarterback. Whether that's in the draft, free agency, I don't know. But we're going to have to figure something out. All right, potential new starting quarterback. Well, we did sign him. J.J. McCarthy. Panthers let him walk. We're going to bring him in. Still 25, 76 overall. Maybe we could turn him into something. I don't know. We're still going to look at the draft, but we're not at the point of doing that kind of super scouting. If there's a quarterback in the draft that we like, maybe we'll trade up and try to go get him if anyone really stands out in a way that we think looks good. But it's going to be J.J. McCarthy for the next 3 or at least the final 2 years of this rebuild. Maybe we can turn his career around. Also signed Devontae Wyatt and A.J. Barner to be our tight end number 2. So, yeah, that is going to do it for free agency for us. Bryce Young signs with the Raiders. So I guess things didn't work out with what's his face? With Fernando Mendoza. I'm gonna have to go look into this real quick. Yeah, I don't understand this. They have Fernando Mendoza, but they decided to go out and sign Bryce Young. What do you want for Fernando Mendoza? What do you want for your backup quarterback? We just did sign J.J. McCarthy, but I will give, you know what? Fine, they want to do it. We want to get crazy here. I know we signed JJ McCarthy, but you know what? We need multiple quarterbacks. Maybe things haven't worked out there. So there we go. We make that trade. We acquire Fernando Mendoza. So we have two quarterbacks here. And yeah, when you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So we now have Fernando Mendoza on this team. He is our quarterback. We got Mendoza and McCarthy. Who knows who will be the starter? It'll probably be Mendoza, but I don't know. The Raiders decided that he wasn't worth keeping around. They said, you know what? We want Bryce Young. We saw Bryce Young put up 8 points in a playoff game as the 1 seed with Ryan Williams, Tedero McMillan, Tucker Kraft. We saw all of that. You know what? We're good with that. Okay. I'll take Fernando Mendoza. This is the weirdest rebuild I have ever done, I swear. Okay, so we are here in the 2028 draft after a pretty crazy start to our offseason. We now have Fernando Mendoza as our quarterback, which is very weird that somehow has worked out for us in that way, but we are going to, I believe, take a tackle here. Some of our other tackles, actually, we'll go back, take an actual look at our roster real quick. The reason why I'm doing this, before anyone questions why I'm doing it, we do have Ike Mekwonu, but because of the quarterback situation in terms of our contracts and things like that, we have to take a quick look. What is his contract looking like? And he's a free agent in 2 years. We have him for 28 and 29. So you know what? We are not going to take that to tackle. I thought about it. I think we're fine at tackle. I'm not sure why I thought we were in a worse position at tackle than what we really were. We do need potential future defensive tackle help. Is there any ones that are good left here? Is there any round 1 to 2 defensive tackles here at this point? And the answer is no. There are some round 2 to 3 guys, but we're not in a position, I think, to kind of burn picks on guys like that just yet. Did I or did I not hit pause draft? I could have swore I hit pause draft. How bad are these menus? So, you know, we're gonna look around here. Is there anyone here that we like? We're fine at receiver. There is a quarterback here. We don't need one now. You know, we don't. And you know, we'll see if maybe any of these corners are good. I probably take too many corners, but I always feel like you should take lots of corners. This corner, Darius Alexander, not a great man coverage guy, but good zone coverage, B press, B catching, 6'2". Good. We'll take him. I'll take him. JC Horn is going to keep getting older, and that's a good pick, honestly. 6'2", 189 pounds, 23 years old, out of Florida State, 91 speed, 92 acceleration. We'll find out what how he is actually as a player, but I like that pick. Got to start thinking about the future because we're going to be in a weird cap situation just because, you know, I signed JJ McCarthy. I did not expect the Raiders I did not expect the team who already had a quarterback to draft or to sign Bryce Young. I expected it to be a team that maybe didn't have a quarterback, but a team that already has one and then is willing to let me have their quarterback, I will take that. And we're going to take one of these defensive tackles because we are now in the Madden generated classes. And good play rec here. Block shedding for all of these guys is kind of whatever. But Jimmy Ruggs actually looks pretty good. Has B block shedding, A play rec. That's what you look for with these defensive tackles. Play rec, block shedding. And then the moves, it's whatever. Finesse power moves, they'll eventually work themselves out. So Jimmy Ruggs is going to be the pick. He is a hidden dev. Of course he is. So we get an additional defensive tackle right there. And we'll go to our next pick. And we'll probably double up on defensive tackle because usually one of them does progress, another doesn't. But I like having the option of having one of them to progress. Also gets us out of the situation of having to sign expensive defensive tackles on the free agent market because they can get a little pricey. We'll take a look here at the play rec, which is kind of the most important thing, and then block shedding. All the rest of these guys are at C's, which is fine, but then I guess it comes down to what do we like here? He does have A finesse moves. What are the power moves? Is that not shown in here? Cameron Tatum, C power moves, A finesse moves, B tackle, C block shedding, does have the play rec. Everything here looks good. Elite speed. That's usually a good sign that he could be a very good player. Ranked number 54 in true value, got him at 92. Also hidden dev, so 2 hidden dev defensive tackles to add to our defensive tackle room. And this has so far been a pretty good draft, honestly. We've basically hit on every pick because we need to hit on these picks. That's just kind of the situation we're in. We absolutely have to hit on these because we're, going to be in a precarious position at least for a year or so because I decided to, potentially sign a quarterback in JJ McCarthy. Again, I keep bringing this up, but we're going to take this guy. He's not good. But decided to take, again, I think a lot of people would do the same thing because it's like, all right, you want to sign Bryce Young. Well, let me go see what you're doing with that Fernando Mendoza. And apparently things didn't work out there. Tom Brady, not a believer in Fernando Mendoza. So Martin Murphy corner. We'll take another corner. And Rick number 94 in true value, 92 speed, 92 jumping, 91 acceleration. So that looks pretty good as well. And I'm going to make one more pick here before we get out of this draft. And then we'll be on to year number 3 of the rebuild. And I guess at this point, we'll take a look at potentially some running backs. Is there anyone here? I always like looking at running backs. I feel like I never get great running backs. Another power back. And then we have a Zach Terrell. He is an elusive back. And we have that. But what's that other back? With the ball carrier vision. Bryce Westbrook. He ran a 4.42. He's a power back, but he ran better than an elusive back. We'll take a look here at Bryce Westbrook. 108 in true value, 91 speed, 79 strength. So that's not too bad. So that is going to do it for the draft. I'll see you for the draft recap. All right, draft recap here. Darius Alexander, 76 overall corner. Man coverage needs some work, but everything else looks really good for him. 91 speed, 92 acceleration. Press is okay. Got to get that tackling up. And then Jimmy Ruggs, defensive tackle, 73 overall. Play rec is a 77. Block shedding is a 76. So I feel like he should potentially simulate pretty well in the sim engine. And then Cameron Tatum is a 73 overall. 73 play rec. 68 block shedding, so a little bit of work needs to be done with him, but does have the hidden dev, is only 22 years old as well. Cordova is a 64, or then Martin Murphy, 70 overall, and then we have Bryce Westbrook here, is a 69 overall, and yeah, don't know what he'll ever be, if anything, but it's an okay pick. Would probably be a funner pick if I was like, this was like a normal franchise, but Martin Murphy, 70 overall. Man coverage needs work. Press is an 80, and play rec is a 64. So, probably a, slot nickel corner. I like it. All right, so here is the team for year number 3 of the rebuild. New quarterback, new QB1, Fernando Mendoza here taking over. We do have JJ McCarthy, so that could fit, and we're going to try to develop him. We have him set to one of our focus players, so we're going to try to develop JJ McCarthy the rest of the year, and then potentially send him on his way. And here is the receiver room. Looks really good. Ryan Williams has developed great superstar dev for Ted Roto McMillan. And then we come back in here. Defense looking pretty good, honestly. Still have Derek Brown. Starting to get probably a little bit older, though. It's probably going to begin regressing a little bit, but if we can hold on for another 2 years with him this year and next year, I think we have a shot to do something in the playoffs. This cornerback room, JC Horn, probably starting to regress a little bit. This is a great cornerback room. Simple as that. I mean, our worst starting corner is Darius Alexander at a 79 overall. Safeties look great. Everything here looks great. I think we should be great. I think we should win the NFC South for, technically, this would be the 4th straight year if we were able to win the NFC South again. So we're going to go on, see if we can do it. I'll see you for the playoffs. No midseason mark, anything like that. I will see you for the playoffs. We have got to start having some playoff success here. So another 14-3 season for us. Number 1 seed in the NFC for the 3rd straight year. Let's go take a look at the stats and awards. Fernando Mendoza, massive season here. 5,300 yards, 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard, 610 yards, 11 touchdowns. And then massive season here from Ryan Williams and Tyrell McMillan. Tucker Kraft, 705 yards. That's what we want to see from our tight end right there. Love seeing that. Big time offensive production here. And then we'll take a look here defensively. And Nick Scorton, 15.5 sacks. He's been really good for us. Derek Brown has been good for us. Princely has been good for us. Not sure if he'll be back with us. And then Joshua Josephs, who we took a couple years ago, finally getting on the field. 4 sacks from him. You love seeing that. And then defensively, a bunch of turnovers here from these guys. Cole Parrish with a interception as well. So love seeing that. Defense played well, and we have a ton of upgrades that we're going to have to get to here as well. I feel it's really important for me to show these upgrades so we can kind of keep up with these players. Ryan Williams, I always try getting them to be playmaker scheme fits, and it never seems to work for whatever reason. Not sure why that is. They just always seem to either become great slot guys or deep threats, and we go with another playmaker upgrade right there. It doesn't matter. I mean, you still get great upgrades with the playmaker upgrades, but I would like to see that kind of more take over, but I think it bleeds over into so many of the other, all of these receiver ones do that. But Ryan Williams, I think that was the right move to trade Xavier Legette and go draft Ryan Williams. I think that was the smart move, and I think the smart move here was to go out and trade for Fernando Mendoza. I mean, maybe JJ McCarthy could have had a similar season, but Mendoza, a little more polished, and we go out and just get him, and cost us a little bit, but you know what? I'm glad Bryce Young decided not to re-sign with us, because we go out, we get a younger quarterback still on a rookie deal that is going to allow us to have some flexibility in terms of the cap maneuverability for us moving forward, especially after we likely trade JJ McCarthy in the off season. So let's go see who we're playing in the divisional round. Hopefully we can finally win a playoff game here. And we're taking on the Giants, 10-7. So we'll go in there, see if we can win, see if we can beat the Giants. But let's see what this upgrade is actually. This upgrade is a couple guys right here. And just auto upgrade those guys right there. So there we go. We're an 89 overall, 91 overall offense, 87 overall defense. Let's see how we do in a playoff game. All right, divisional round of the playoffs. We are in here. Fernando Mendoza, first playoff game with us. We are up 20-3 over the New York Football Giants, 23-3. And we look well within our way to closing this one out, and we do. 23-10, the Panthers are moving on to the NFC Championship game as we defeat the New York Football Giants here. So there we go. Fernando Mendoza does what Bryce Young can't do, and that's win a playoff game with the Panthers. Oh, and if you're wondering, Bryce Young did go, went to the Raiders, and the Raiders, of course, only put up 10 points in a playoff game, and they lose, and Bryce Young threw an interception and got sacked 4 times. So, maybe they bet on the wrong quarterback. I don't know. Maybe Tom Brady isn't that great at talent scouting. So it is an all NFC South, NFC Championship game here, and let's go take a look at the Falcons roster. I'm somewhat interested to see who their quarterback is. And who do they got under center? And they have still Michael Peanuts Jr. He has turned into a franchise quarterback in this version of Madden franchise mode. I usually don't see that, but interesting to see at that time. So let's go take on the Falcons for a trip to go for a chance to for a trip to the Super Bowl. Hopefully we can do it. All right, we are here NFC Championship game. We are dominating the Falcons here 24 to nothing, 31 to nothing, 38 to nothing. We are going to the Super Bowl here. 1 year after getting rid of Bryce Young, the Panthers are headed to the Super Bowl after defeating the Falcons. Suck it, Bryce Young. And look at the game that Fernando Mendoza had. 21 to 29, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns, a deep pass of 80 yards. What a game he had. Not much for the run game because the sim engine never has that. But Ted McMillan, 119 yards. Ryan Williams, 91 yards. Jalen Coker, 103 yards. And then Tucker Kraft, 20 yards, but also a touchdown. So great game for these guys defensively. I mean, Derek Brown with 3 sacks, 1.5 sack for Princely, a sack for Nick Scorton, a sack for Jimmy Ruggs, half a sack for Anthony Hill Jr., and an interception by Cole Parrish. So all of our key pieces stepping up in this playoff game. So a little bit of pre-Super Bowl news here. Ryan Williams goes up to a 96 overall, and also he goes up to Superstar X Factor. And I believe he got that from being Offensive Player of the Year, Wide Receiver of the Year, NFL Receptions Leader. So it goes up to X Factor. And then Fernando Mendoza has 2 upgrades as well. Those are simply going to go into Field General. I don't ever feel the need to really focus on any of these other quarterback, archetypes at all ever. But up to Superstar Dev for Fernando Mendoza after the great season he had. Let's see, did he win anything? He won MVP Quarterback of the Year as well. So up to Superstar Dev. I think we got the better of the trade, which means we're going to take on the Jaguars, and we made a trade with them, kind of a key trade, 2 seasons ago when we went out and acquired, or when we decided to acquire Ryan Williams. We traded them. Actually, they don't have him anymore. I'm pretty sure we traded him. Or did we trade him to the Browns? Did we trade Xavier Legette to the Browns? I could have sworn we made some trade with this Panthers, with this Jaguars team. I can't remember. I've already forgotten. But I know I could have sworn we made a trade with them. We did acquire a corner from them. I believe we acquired Jaron Jones from them. But either way, I can't exactly remember the trade. Doesn't matter. I'm in my Joe Biden era. We're taking on the Jaguars. They're 9-8. We are way better than them. We should beat them here in the Super Bowl. And it's almost a home game for them in Tampa. I don't know. I doubt there's that many Jaguars fans in Tampa. I'm sure most of those are Buccaneers. They're probably like, whatever fans, because, I'm sure that's a real big city for, people to retire from all over the country. So there's all sorts of NFL fans down in Tampa. But either way, it doesn't matter. Super Bowl, the Cat Bowl, Jaguars, Panthers. Let's see what happens. So we are here, third quarter of the Super Bowl, up 21-3, and it is mostly been us the entire game, but maybe Jacksonville can make a late charge here. We're going to skip that moment, and we're going to come in here, try to win this football game on the line, and we're going to assume they're going to try to throw this football, and they do throw it. No one can tackle the great Travis Hunter. Right there, he just shakes off the first tackle, and they're going to take a lot of time. They have no timeouts, so they have got to spike the football right there. And do we have anything decent here? Not really, but we're going to assume they're going to pass this football every single time. It would make no sense for them to, potentially to run this football. Trying to get some pressure on Lawrence. Down he goes right there. We bring him down. It's Jimmy Ruggs with the sack. And they are going to have to hurry up here. 3rd and 18 now. Try to get this football. They're going to definitely try to pass it again. Almost sacked that time right there. But Nick Scorton almost brought him down and almost ended this game. Why do they always want me to call like this weird like double bracket thing. Not what I want to do at all. Yeah, not what we want to do here. We're going to go here, 4th and 18. Got some guys here. Deep shot here. Brian Thomas Jr. comes down with it because, of course, he does. 2 seconds left on the clock. This thing has to go towards the end zone. And hopefully we can hold on here. Can we get some pressure? That's going to be intercepted. And we are going to take this one out. Try to run it all the way back. Can we? No, we cannot. Doesn't matter. 24-18 is going to be your final. Asante Samuel Jr. seals it right there. And the Carolina Panthers are Super Bowl champions, 24-18. And we'll take a look here at the day that Fernando Mendoza had, 17 of 27, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then not much for the... Well, actually a decent bit of running there. Only 10 for 72. Teteroa McMillan, a touchdown. He is a millionaire. A touchdown. Ryan Williams, a touchdown. Jalen Coker, a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard, nothing for Tucker Kraft in this one. But then defensively, a couple sacks here. Jimmy Ruggs, Derek Brown, and then a half here for a couple other guys. Lots of half sacks in this one. And then Asante Samuel Jr. seals it with the interception right there. Love to see that. Let's gear up for year number 4 and see if we can go back to back. So one of the toughest parts about trying to repeat a Super Bowl in the NFL is that you have to re-sign players, you lose players all the time. And we are in an interesting position. Robert Hunt, I want to bring back because for the most part, I want to keep this offensive line pretty much intact. I don't want to have anything different. He wants to play for a new team next year. He's not even interested in coming back. So that's a little disappointing. Princely, we're going to let walk. Chuba Hubbard, we're probably going to let walk. And honestly, I think we're mostly fine at running back. We'll bring back Trevor Etienne, and he's ready to come back. Chuba Hubbard, we're not going to bring back a 30-year-old running back. But everyone else, I think we are going to let walk here. No real point in bringing a lot of these guys back. So into free agency we go. Not like we have to spend a lot for this team. We're mostly fine, but let's see if we can put something together. So JJ McCarthy, who we brought in, was like a 76 overall. We got him up to an 82. We are letting Princely walk, but we are going to make a trade here. With the Dolphins, we get a 2nd-round pick. 5th-round pick in this upcoming draft. I am willing to make that move. The simple fact that we do not need another quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is our guy. So what do we need? Well, we do need another right guard. Bo Nix hit free agency, so that's why they weren't willing to pay Bo Nix. Instead, they will take on 9 and see if they can make something with him. We did, develop him a little bit. So we're looking around here. What do we want to do? I would love to bring back Robert Hunt, but he decided to hit free agency in a year where there's a bunch of guards. And we can bring in Cody Mauch, and also us bringing him in hurts potentially one of our rivals, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's see, do we get Cody Mauch? And we do. So we have a new right guard, a little bit younger than Robert Hunt by a couple years. So there we go. Hunt, not sure where he is going to end up signing, but that's really the only move that we needed to make for this team. We didn't need to do anything else. We're fine at basically every other position right now. So yeah, we're good to go, fired up, and we are going to head to the draft and draft some guys. Again, we don't really need much for this team right now. Gonna go gear up for this final year. So here we are in the draft, or about to start the draft, but we are here in the draft. And again, not a lot of stuff that we actually really need to do. But I would think this team would maybe look at an extra receiver, Jalen Coker. I believe his deal is going to be up. Again, I like doing these rebuilds in a way where it's like I still have to think about as if I'm doing another year, even though I'm not doing another year. We do have to think about that, right? That is something I think this team would think about. And we'll take a look at some of these receivers, if any of them are any good. So that's what we're going to do. 1st-round receiver. Doesn't seem like this team needs one. but you can't keep everyone forever in the NFL. That's just kind of the way it is. Trey Hargrave, he looks a spectacular catch. His route running is decent. At least short route's good. Medium route and deep route are both D's. And then Jaden Woodson. Take a look at his stuff here. He looks like just a great athlete, honestly. 4.41, great strength, elite jumping. You know, again, the route running is basically all the same for these guys. We'll take Jaden Woodson. And ranked number 45 in true value, but he does have hidden dev. 6'2", 217 pounds, out of Penn State. We'll take it. And we'll go to our next user pick as well and just kind of see what's there. See what's around. We maybe need some edge guys as well. This team needs to think about that too. And these guys don't look all that great. And the right edge guys don't look all that great either. I mean, these guys just don't look very good. None of them really look all that interesting. That's kind of what I thought about. And they're all potential UDFAs as well. So, defensive tackles. You already know there's probably some good defensive tackles here. There's always good defensive tackles. Granted, there's ones with like bad play rec, which I think is interesting. Like, actually, this looks like one of the rare like bad defensive tackle classes. We're going to take this defensive tackle. I think this team would also think about taking even more defensive tackles for the simple fact that Marco Cabrera looks pretty nice, actually. Only normal dev because Derek Brown is up there in age. We did only re-sign him for 2 years. So, you know, getting up there in age, already a Super Bowl champion, has made millions of dollars. You have to be ready to replace those guys. And that is something this team probably would think about as well. So we come back again. Tight ends, are any of them good? Nick De La Rosa doesn't have the best. Pass blocking is not very good. Let's say none of these tight ends look particularly good. It's kind of one of the rare draft classes where there's not really good tight ends. And these guys don't look all that great either. I mean, the right guards, round 2 to 3 guy, round 2 to 3 guy. I think JJ Hess looks the best out of all these guys. We'll take him. I think this team would also, again, consider taking a guard, hidden dev. Cody Mauch is 30. It's a 2-year deal. So Hess can kind of just sit behind him for 2 years. Granted, we won't be there, but, you know, I'll see you for the draft recap because we don't pick again till the 6th round. Okay, welcome back. Year number 4 of the rebuild. Jaden Woodson, 74 overall, hidden dev. Route running needs work for sure, but looks like a pretty decent athlete. 93 speed, 87 acceleration. You usually see those things kind of on top of each other, so I actually do kind of like that the Madden draft classes will kind of mix things up a little bit. Personally, I would love to see guys with lower speed, but high acceleration, where like they get to that top speed really fast, but their top speed isn't like the fastest. I think there's lots of guys like that who can kind of get up to gear quick, but they don't have the highest gear. If that makes any sense. Marco Cabrera, 75 overall, 77 play rec, 73 block shedding, power finesse moves both need work, but having the block shedding and play rec so high, also the awareness is a 73, 92 strength, looks really good. And then JJ Hess here, hidden dev, offensive lineman. Pass block needs work, run block power needs a little bit of work. All the power stuff needs work for him. But apart from that, I think he looks like a pretty good player. It's weird that he's not good at like power stuff, but he's really strong. I feel like that doesn't match up right. Awareness needs work too, but he's behind a couple veteran guards, so he should develop quite nicely. So there we go. Decent draft class here for this final one. I don't think any of these guys will make like an impact this season for us. It's all going to be guys who have been here for a little bit, but we're setting this team up for the future after we're done with this rebuild. So, went through training camp drills. Actually didn't. I actually simulated them. But I still set it all up, though, with the, you know, camp counselor things. And for Woodson, you know what? Let's just go with the physical instead of worrying about trying to get him to be a playmaker, because I feel like all of these archetype buckets kind of bleed into each other, so I don't really feel like it makes that much of a difference which one you kind of focus on personally. We'll go with physical for him. He is a big physical guy, so I guess it kind of makes sense, but he is going to be up to, at the very least, an 80 overall to start this season, and I think that was a pretty good pick, honestly. And the rich get richer in terms of the receiving talent on this team. 6'2", 217 pounds. I think physical makes a lot of sense for him. Route running definitely has to get better, but he looks really good. 86 catch in traffic as well. And then JJ Hess, who we're going to focus on here as well. And we will focus on his power because those things need to get better if he's ever going to be a starter for this team, right, in the future. I mean, he already has the potential to do that, but we want to get him there, right? Potential is nothing if you don't put in the work and actually develop the right way. So he's going to be a 72 overall going into his rookie season. Won't have to play. He can just sit back, learn, and develop for the next couple years. I'm going to assume he's a star dev. I rarely, and I really do mean that, I rarely, if ever, anytime we do get guys like these hidden dev linemen, like rarely are they ever like actually a superstar or anything like that. That just does not happen in these games. I feel like they just don't generate enough star or superstar linemen. I feel like that's just not something the game like focuses on. And then Michael Gabriel with 5 upgrade points. He's not a hidden dev or anything like that, but we'll take it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's always good. Again, I've said this before. I do feel like the sim engine values defensive back depth. It feels like to me. I don't know. That's just kind of like an observation. It seems like every time I have good corner depth, that's when things go well for the team. So I don't know if like because those guys get on special teams or something. I really don't know. But a 73 overall here for Michael Gabriel, late round pick. Do like seeing that. Doubt he won't play over anyone important, but either way, pretty good stuff right there. I'll see you with the start of year number 4. So year number 4 of the rebuild, here is the team. A little bit different. Starting to see some change over here, at least on the offensive line. Cody Mauch going to be our starting right guard. And you think Cade Mays would have developed a little bit more, seeing how he's been a scheme fit and our starting center the entire rebuild, but still only 77 overall. Again, I feel like just offensive linemen don't develop enough in these games. I feel like they should. Which means I think, honestly, if they're going to develop more, that means they should probably have around the league in Madden lower ratings. So Trevor Etienne going to be our starting running back this year. Fernando Mendoza, 93. Tucker Kraft up to superstar development. And here is the defense. A little bit different here on the right side with Newberry, who we got from the Dolphins in the J.J. McCarthy trade. Here is the defensive line. Oh my God, Tatum has superstar X Factor. Okay, did not expect that. And here's the corner room. Still really, really good. Belton's really good. Parrish is really good. We should be really good. So I definitely think we should have a very, very good season here. I'll see you for the playoffs because I think we'll probably make them. You know, I just got an idea. Cameron Tatum was only 300 pounds. What if we move him to edge? 300 pounds, that he can definitely play on the edge at that size. He has X Factor. Let's move Cameron Tatum to the edge. He's still a 77 overall X Factor. He'll get on the field. We'll probably play in a spot where he should be. Yeah, we'll go with Cameron Tatum at edge. I think that is the correct move right there. And we drafted Cabrera, so we have defensive tackle depth right there with Ruggs, Brown, Wyatt. We're good there. So you know what? I like that move. I'll get in here and make sure he is at the rush right end specialist position, but I'll see you for the playoffs. I am interested to see what Cameron Tatum is able to do. Okay, 17-0 season. You love to see it. We have a bunch of upgrades we're going to get into. Right here, we go 17-0. JJ Hess gets a ton of upgrades right here, and I'll spend my time going through his. We're still going to just go with power for JJ Hess and kind of see what we can get him up to. And yeah, I'm interested to see what we get his final stats up to. So JJ Hess will finish up to a 76 overall. So pretty good season for him. Definitely going to be a future starter for us. And Ryan Williams gets a couple more points here, and he is probably very close. Once we get done with this, he will be definitely a true 99 overall player, and he is a true 99 overall right there for playmaker or for slot. Now is a true 99 overall for slot, playmaker, and deep threat, which means we can just focus here on physical and these last few upgrades. So Ryan Williams has absolutely been awesome for us. Definitely the right pick. Definitely the right move, trading away Xavier Legette for Ryan Williams. And yeah, he just looks absolutely sick. We'll take a look at his stats, season stats in a little bit. All right, stats and awards. Fernando Mendoza, 54 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, 5,700 yards, almost 6,000 yards on the season. Trevor Etienne played really well for us, 749 yards rushing on the season. Ryan Williams, 30 touchdowns, 2,305 yards. Tedero McMillan, 1,100 yards. Jaden Woodson actually came in and had a really good season, took all of Jaden Coker's snaps. I mean, it makes sense he would. He's already at 80 overall, 5 touchdowns on the year. Tucker Kraft, another great season for him. That was such a good signing. AJ Barner, really good as our tight end number 2. And then defensively, what did we do here in terms of sack production? And Nick Scrouton led the way again. Derek Brown led the way. Cameron Tatum, only 6.5 sacks, but that was his first year starting for us. So he played very well, honestly, for that first year, and he'll probably just keep getting better at those pass rush moves and things like that. So Asante Samuel Jr., 4 interceptions, J.C. Horn with 3, Anthony Hill with 2, Belton and Banks each with 1 as well. So a really great year for our defense. Let's go see who we're playing in the divisional round. So, taking on the Bears in the divisional round, we are a 91 overall across the board. Feel like we should beat them. I probably don't have to jump into this, and we are going to advance on, see if we can beat the Bears. And we do 51-22. We just absolutely curb stomped them here. And now we're going to take on the Rams. I will jump into this, play the moments, try not to really touch anything if I can. And we'll just see how we do there as well. And just, yeah, that's kind of the plan. Couple more upgrades here to do for these guys, and we will see if that gets our overall any higher. Bunch of guys, important guys getting upgrades here. Couple more upgrades right there, and still 91 across the board. So let's jump into this game and see if we can beat the Rams. All right, NFC Championship game taking on the Rams. We're up 35-14 and 42-14. This is a rout here. Absolutely dominating this Rams team, who has Julian Sand as their quarterback. 21-42, doesn't matter. We're moving on to our second straight Super Bowl here. Julian Sand and the Rams, it was not enough here. Just too dominant of a defense we have built. And what a game for Fernando Mendoza. Almost 400 yards, 5 passing touchdowns on the day, a rushing touchdown for Trevor Etienne, and 2 receiving touchdowns for Tedero McMillan, 2 receiving touchdowns for Ryan Williams, and receiving touchdowns for Trevor Etienne. Really good stuff right there. And then defensively, 1.5 sacks for Derek Brown, a sack for Anthony Hill Jr., a sack for Devontae Wyatt, and a sack for Cameron Tatum, half sack for Jimmy Ruggs. No turnovers, but either way, a dominant performance by our defense. So, for the Super Bowl here in Minneapolis, this is when we know the rebuilds end in Madden 26, when we get to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis, or if we fail. We are taking on the Patriots. The Patriots have a shot at stopping a team from going undefeated. Let's go take a look let's see the playoff bracket. Did the Raiders make the playoffs? The Raiders did not make the playoffs, so yeah, Tom Brady is probably like being told, you need to sell the team, dog. Like you have completely ruined this franchise. They still have Drake May. Actually, see it right on the screen. Christian Gonzalez, Drake May, Trevion Henderson. They still have all those guys. I think we're going to go in there, and I think we're going to kick their ass, but you never know. So let's go see. All right, we are in the Super Bowl, and we are going to defeat the Patriots 28-14. I almost missed it. I was looking at something else real quick. Sorry. 28-14. We go back-to-back here. Second Super Bowl here for Fernando Mendoza and these Panthers in as many years. Big win here. We go 18-0. Let's go take a look here at the stats. Let's see what Fernando Mendoza put up in this game. 14-21 for Mendoza, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Trevor Etienne, 91 yards, a touchdown. Receiving, Ryan Williams, 5 receptions, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tucker Kraft with a touchdown as well. Defensively, how did we do? A sack for Jimmy Ruggs, a sack for Nick Scorton. 3 interceptions in this one. Asante Samuel Jr. with 1. Randon Fontanet with 1, and Anthony Hill Jr. with an interception as well. So pretty good stuff right there. And it is another successful rebuild for this team and this channel. So I want to thank you for watching this rebuild. If you've been enjoying the rebuilds, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. I want to thank you for watching this one, and I will see you for another Madden 26 rebuild or more of my Madden 26 Jets franchise series that I have going on. Maybe go watch that video after you watch this one. Go watch that one. It should be on the screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.